YouTube, welcome back. So, another day, and did a lot of overnight stuff, honestly, starting off. Um, was doing a little bit of flip-flop here overnight. Um, Finally switched long, cut it short. Took a last second short that I really shouldn't have, honestly. Um, and then took another sell here near the top, and then tried again after somebody basically posted a chart and I took it and I copy-pasted it. But it made sense because I was already seeing bearish delivery, so I did agree with it a lot. And then it was midnight, so we went to bed. So going into New York, honestly, um, the pre-market kind of threw me off, and I only say that because kind of looking at what happened, um, we already kind of knew that we were bouncing off of this flow already. This is why we longed Asia in general, was because sell side down to here, you balance up to here, kind of continuing on. So you can basically literally apply the exact same logic. You run first FEG until the highest, I should say the lowest point that sell side is needed. You run sell side down in there to balance it, and then you continue on forward. So literally same exact thing here. This one was a bit more interesting, if you will, and I only say that because this was one of those where you immediately push and then set a range. And what's really, really sweet about market maker models is you look at like the duration of this range, this being like 5 bars. It took nearly, say 60 bars, what have you, um, to set itself over the same range that it originally took 5 in. So this is how you can kind of get time distorted, and that's like a big thing that you want to watch out for. Um, Now I know hindsight's 2020. That's kind of the whole point of these also, but these are the things that you can look for. Going into the morning session, I woke up around 8. I was already noticing bearish turtles, and I was absolutely seeing that and still thinking go lower. And truthfully, it was working. I didn't take anything, but I was watching the bearish delivery, if you will. Hindsight is going to tell you left to right, run this back all the way to the last down close because your range was previously from a bullish range, and you're still, all of this is still inside this previous range. So you should use the previous range that you came from. That's kind of one of the big things I want to hammer home, especially for myself today. Because truthfully, as a short, this is valid and 100% real, if you will, in terms of the setup, especially a V shape like this with a lot of stacked sell side, where there's all just failure swing, building up and up and up like that. You can absolutely anticipate that to get ran. It's kind of what we did last Friday on the 1 hour PM session. If you go look at 1 hour chart on NASDAQ, you get the stack failure swings. You're looking for that anticipation for it to roll over. This is that same thing. Again, even the idea of time distortion, even in this, you set the range in 5, and then it takes you 38 to travel essentially the same thing. So I was already watching the bearish delivery, and as we started to break it, I didn't notice this bullish turtle at the bottom. But we are absolutely breaking bearish turtles that we should not have broke at all. And that's super important because that is telling you that their net shift is occurring in the positions as to like what they wish to hold and everything. So if you were hitting London going short after this, that's absolutely valid, and that's what was happening. And that was what was happening until it wasn't, where it broke here. And even if you didn't want to use this, you could absolutely say that it broke here. And again, mind you, this is all before market RTH even opens. So again, you have this old London high here, which you already passed your bearish turtles that should not have gotten hit at all. Throwing a little bit of that, if you will, and even just up close lows, what have you. So as we kind of go into the open, I did initially take a short, basically a pattern short. I was trying to see if London would feel like holding just to kind of move back down. And I saw the turtle soup here, so I ended up going short. Ended up ripping against me. Basically same exact thing though. Logic with the left to right, you retrace to your last close, and then you continue, even though your fractal retracement is absolutely bearish delivery and order flow. It's only for that one part, and then once they're disregarding that, it's going to tear through all of it, or at least a large majority of it, because the net shift is actually where it needs to be. So I got stopped up there, taking that trade from here to here, essentially. And I ended up reshorting as we broke to new lows. Hindsight, I'm realizing that I basically attached these two trades. I wanted to go short. I got stopped out, so I shorted again. Which of course you never want to connect instances because they're not. And even if I'm looking at this, same exact thing, you get this kind of double push that's just a stop out. And regardless of that, I was seeing kind of the swing low here, and then even especially on the 1 minute, this was kind of my whole copium, to be honest. You're breaking bearish turtles, right? So like you have this here and all this here. When you start closing above it, it's very unlikely that you're going to do anything. And especially you just sitting there sweeping that low again while you're hitting 5-minute BISI, as well as my friend actually pointed out a 15-minute BISI that market was trading into as well. So a higher time frame PD rate, you're shorting a BISI. You never want to do that. Go figure. So I ended up basically shorting the bottom after the initial move, because I was trying to get short again. Let it run up against me. I tried reshorting around 945. These are stacked failure swings. You never want to see that. You want to see manipulation and kind of stopping out of them. So once it kind of blew past this, I closed the trade for a big loss, and then I let it kind of shuffle around. I tried shorting this move again, but again, hindsight, this is really just copium because I was just for some reason just married to shorting. I guess I will say actually I was thinking of like a rejection block type of deal for the short, and it just clearly wasn't happening, and I need to realize that that's okay that it's not happening. Not so much that the market's the absolute truth, but the market's going to do what it's trying to do with or without you, whether you're in the trade or not in the trade. And again, looking at something like this was extremely basic delivery. Market pushes up, 3-minute BISI, no need to trade back even to any of this, especially again, London high doesn't need any of this. That's why you get the wick kind of basically to the top of London's high. There's nothing in this range that needs to be traded to, which is nice because you can use it as a balance range back through. Because even I told my friend, if you run under this, you can run to this double low. And so when you kind of have that trailing method, you can keep using that as invalidation. So even for if anybody's watching this, back test to see what happens underneath like this Tuesday low, or even going inside this range and watch how far it goes down. And you'll see how likely it is to probably hit this low. Even though I'm saying it ahead of time, it hasn't happened. It pretty much run for this low. There won't be any like PD raise in here to hold. You'll basically just get fake bounces and it'll get crushed over. Pretty much like this. Just bounce, 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 react off whatever inefficiency is here and is valid. But knowing that it's a reaction and extremely likely to roll over, and you should just basically take it to like a previous high or something to reject. That's all these were doing. So, and you can do that same thing on buy side as well. So do look for that if you're watching this, or even just go look at your charts and see what this is back in April. So, and especially once I inverted the chart as well, I could absolutely tell that we were getting quote unquote lower prices, which it's inverted, so you're getting higher prices. And I was just shorting the entire thing. And I was even able to see like, turtle soup there into the FVG, turtle soup here, another one here into a BISI. So it's like, it's perfect stuff, and then stacked buy side, So it's like a bunch of things going against you, truthfully. When you already had this bullish, extreme, fake market structure shift. And when you have those like fake ones like that, it should absolutely explode against, and then it really should continue on up on past truthfully, which is what it did. And it was only until after this move here I just went short again, just being mad, and I shorted. Ended up closing down here. I actually tried to reshort again off this kind of FVG tap. Hindsight, this was a reaction. The profile was still absolutely bullish and just kind of, sell side to the where sell side is needed. And also BISI on retracement, you never want to see an FVG of the opposite reaction on your move up against you. Like if you're short, you don't want to see a BISI, basically, or vice versa. And that's exactly why it immediately ripped through my face by the time I finished what I was doing. And I was well past, and then by up here, it was already too late. So I ended up going long just to scalp like literally this range here. So pretty bad there. I tried shorting after this down move right here. and then it was chopping and kind of did this push up, so I just said screw it, I got rid of it, and have it collapse all the way down. Then ended up selling down here to kind of close here, I believe, and then that was pretty much it for the day. So missed that short that was there, because it really didn't hit anything that was actually like invalidating, what have you. Because even looking at this is only like 35 points. 35 points is nothing when you're holding your short for 180 against you. So that is kind of an important thing that I'm realizing it. So, yeah, so maybe just start throwing some wider stops and just playing like general direction and seeing what happens, and just following whatever rules that we have, which I guess we do know the rules that we have, but still. But yeah, if we look at like the actual like application we used for trading, yeah, we basically shorted down there and there, looking for the VIB that I originally looked for, ended up just selling it over there. That was the break-even short, and then that was the YOLO buy that we did at the very, very top. We also have, again, that was kind of that whole shuffle after the open, shorting, getting stopped out, shorting again, end up shorting the bottom, trying to add to it, and then selling the very, very top, and then just reshorting basically in rage, reshorting basically in rage, and then reshorting basically in rage, and it finally only did that. And then, like I said, I gave back everything on this move here because I tried to reshort it, and it just screamed against me like nothing. Which, again, had the symbols, had the knowledge, BISYEN, retrace, all that stuff there. So, really just a lot of straight-up losses, and then two break even, like a decent one. And even overnight, honestly, I pretty much made the same mistake. I'm noticing that I'm switching too much. In terms of like my trade, or I'm not switching enough. Like I'll hold a general direction when like I can clearly tell that this is bullish, and I didn't need anybody or anything to tell me that it was bullish. I was just sitting there in denial at the fact that it wasn't because I was short. So I was basically like denying that I was losing money in a way. And that pretty much just rolled it over. So, probably be some more hindsight lessons, just end on a more positive note. I admittedly do have to be taking a break as of right now, so won't be any live trading, but there will definitely be some watching, and call outs and things like that, and just overall lessons, because I do like teaching everything. It's zero effort for me, and I do like doing it. So there'll definitely be some of that. But as for forecasting, just watch these ranges, see how they don't hold when they fail. And then that's pretty much it, just kind of going from there. And really seeing like what, this is, because even something like this, bear turtle breaks, clearly breaks here, and again, by this time we knew, go bullish, nothing has broken yet. Even after Tesla earnings, what have you, none of it is broke. And the only reason that it didn't need any of this was for exactly the same reason. Offered sell side to here, balance it through here, and also you had the pre-sell side offer as well, and this. So you already have this kind of shuffle here, so you can just kind of shoot through it, and you don't need to actually trade back through it. It's the same logic of using this to balance off for support here, if you really want to call it support, just to balance off it again. And that's exactly why also, just like the pre-market London range, and even ICT tweet about today, the smooth edges being made jagged, or even like my case, the bear turtles getting absolutely blown through in what feels like all at once, or at least very, very quickly. This is the same thing. All the turtles gets blown through. All the turtles gets blown through. Market's fractal. I'll see you in the next one.